So, as we talk about computer crimes, let's also mention a number of challenges that we may be facing in the process of preparation for computer seizure, as well as collecting the evidence, and this preparation this is where the investigation starts. So we have to learn a lot sometimes how individuals use digital devices and digital communication to communicate, and how they prepare themselves to commit crimes. And the challenge here lies in the incredible variety of, first of all, crimes, and second of all, the range of evidence that has to be examined, where basically we need to be looking for a crime scene which may be expanding into the web space, into the to the internet. This is also combined with challenges related to corporate security. So in private sector, the companies develop policies for the employees, different types of personnel, and the rules for conduct their businesses, so that their data, their intellectual property is protected in the proper way, and there's no breach of any kind of security. The security breach would typically be concerned with storage and of information of individual private data, right? So that would include credit cards, names, bank accounts, credit card numbers, addresses, phone numbers, and very similar data, right? So many of this data we classify, or many of crimes related to corporate world is computer fraud. So sometimes a civil case could lead to a criminal case, and so computer fraud investigation typically involves account information, which could be from financial institutions or online services such as eBay, like online auction places, accounting software that may be used by parties, files that are produced by accounting software, other type of personal organizer type of software, like address books, calendars, also social media and chat logs, which could be turned on an individual computer. An interesting thing about the chat log situation is that typically texting, as you know, goes from one telephone number to another telephone number. So the telephone number becomes the source and the destination of a text message. So this is more like one-on-one type of information. At the same time, chat, when there's a chat room service where individuals create their screen name and join the chat room, they sometimes they get an impression that they communicate with whoever talks to them at the time, but at the same time in the chat room it's more like a conference call situation where more than two people see the messages that are being exchanged in the chat room. And with this in mind, it's important to find all participants, because different participants may have chat log turned on, and then that chat log will be logging the information exchanged by all parties, not necessarily just those who are or the individual who sits behind the computer with the chat log turned on. So there's an interesting aspect of the chat log, and it's surprising that many people consider their chats important, or they may want to trace back to situations where they use chats to gain, for instance, computer support, or track certain products online. So you may be surprised how many people actually turn on the chat logs, full chat logs, on their personal devices. So we're is basically touching upon the corporate security and possible computer fraud investigation related to corporate world. Like I mentioned, there's also concern about credit card data. In fact, overall, database servers could be hacked, and if the hacker gets access to the database server, then there is just any kind of data that can be breached by this incident. Also, depending what type of crime, for instance, in the case of stalking, when an individual being stalked, then of course you want to know and being able to locate digital cameras as well as digital camera software that potentially could be used in individuals' actions. Well, obvious things such as emails and as well as handwritten notes and letters, which could be also, or emails that could be printouts, which is kind of weaker version of an email, but oftentimes, especially in corporate world, you will find that some of the printed versions of computer originated documents and emails may also be playing an important role in your investigation. Okay, let's talk about other things. Illegal traffic or exchange of contraband materials. That, of course, includes child pornography and illegal drugs, right? So once again, we're talking about the challenges because it's so important to be able to locate all parties involved, and that very often spills, the crime scene goes from an individual laptop or desktop or a smartphone to a network of computers, which involves also network devices such as routers and logs, which could be examined. Very often, child abusers use chat rooms to communicate, and therefore the chat logs once again play a very important role. Of course, digital cameras and digital camera software, which could be tied to specific criminals, is very important. Same goes for emails. Sometimes there could be exchange of information within a particular video games or computer games. You know that sometimes computer games or video games have built-in chats or text or a direct microphone and handset type of communication, which may also be recorded somewhere on the server or locally on a local computer, and therefore that type of information is also maybe very important. So I mentioned also graphic editing software. In those crimes against children may be presenting a significant evidence because you can see the traces of different activity, as well as image viewing software, specific images and videos. Of course, web history, internet activity, and of course that web history may sometimes be matched with an internet service provider. Information and logs. So we mentioned video and movie files. And also what may play an important role in child abuse investigation is the actual structure of the files and folders that the individuals use to store the information. So the directory names, file names that in a specific way classify images and videos of this illegal contraband materials may play a very important role in the investigation. So we say that typically when we conduct investigation in that involves CP and other crimes, it's very important to capture the for every device, for every hard drive or a thumb drive which could potentially be used to store illegal materials, we need to capture the structure of the entire drive, which may take multiple pages, but this printout or electronic version of listing of all the directories and their names and names of the files may be themselves an important evidence in court.